What's up, people? It's Derek. Even though it's Tuesday, I still got the same shirt on as I had on the other day. I will be taking a shower after this and changing. But, last video, do you remember that I talked about records I was playing, but I wasn't playing any records? But did you notice there was music in the background? Can you hear it? My window's open. That's my neighbor. I've been observing it. It kind of seems like, I won't say it. It does seem like my neighbor's getting worse, you know what I'm saying? So loud, and just sometimes at 2 in the morning, all of a sudden, you'll hear his motorcycle CD player just crank up. At 2 and 3 in the morning, outside, blasting. I know that he's had literally some physical brain damage, a few times, and so who knows? It might be anyway. Before I go and take a shower and change and go out and start my day, I'll show you some records that I played recently because that's the last thing I did. Have a lot on my mind, but I thought I'd the world is just a shithole right now. So rather than talk about that, because everyone knows it if you watch the news, or maybe you're even some of those people who've been impacted by some of the mayhem, I'll just show you some records because music brings comfort. Dimo Borgir. What is the name of this album? I have this because I found it used years ago. Spiritual Black Dimensions. I don't buy much metal, and there's much better metal than this, but I do like the opening track on this. It's a picture disc. I do like the symphonic thing, but some of the band's melodies are a little bit generic. But I like their hit, "Progenies of the Great Apocalypse." Played this a couple times last night. Yesterday was Miles's birthday, Memorial Day. Sketches of Spain. Education here again. This is one of those records I think people need to hear. Played this and really enjoyed it. Metropolis, Janelle Monáe. Saw her live a few years ago and bought this at the show, the limited edition red vinyl. I really like what this woman is doing. She's pretty much going mainstream. It seems that she's getting mainstream success, and I wish that to her. But I like her vision, She rocks as much as she has soul. Don Cherry, Eternal Now. I have this out, I haven't played it yet, but I did play Relativity Suite because another VC member, Joanne Saldi, recently found a copy of this, and this is a beautiful, very spiritual album. Spiritual is right. Quantum Jump. The producer Rupert Hine had this band for a while, and this is a really neat. It's pop, but it's very quirky. I don't want to use the word prog, but it's distinct melodically, arrangement-wise, but it's also very catchy. This is really good. This is also on a cool label, the Electric Record Company label. I'm going to pull this if I can get it open. Cool looking label. Speaking of Janelle Monáe, I had started to make this video earlier and then realized I didn't have it on video, I had it on photo. And so I spent about 10 minutes talking, not recording, but one of the observations I made earlier that I'll try to make again is that I love how Janelle Monáe mixes up rap, rock, and soul. Last night I was watching some videos. I like to watch concerts. And I was watching a mixture of so I watched some Lamb of God, Mastodon, Slayer, Sepultura. And I noticed in some of the comments on Sepultura, it's just really just sad. To me it's sad, maybe it's not. Because it really is just the way it is, that there's just hate. And there's this racial hate. It just never goes away, And the fact that people have a problem with black people rocking, the fact that Sepultura's current lead singer is black and not the old whoever it was, who was not black. People like to rock. We all like to rock. We're all human. It's just so sad, the level of hate, ignorance, and we live in the mind, so you can think anything you want. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to care, and I don't, but I lament it, you know what I'm saying? Didn't play this, but I pulled it just because I was showing to some people I have it. Zuma by Neil Young and Crazy Horse. I don't much listen to Neil Young anymore, to be honest. I listened to this and really enjoyed this. Kip Hanrahan, Vertical's Currency. This is really neat, really an interesting mixture of world musics. Jack Bruce is heavily featured on here, as well as Steve Swallow on bass and David Murray on saxophone. Gus Gus Desire remix. Really liked them when they first came out. Gus Gus from Iceland. And every now and then this is just fun to listen to. Dancy. From Belgium, I think, the name Swimming. This is a Desert Island favorite, and my old band Digital Sex, we used to cover My Life by the Sea off this album. To me, this is a precursor of shoegaze dream pop. Seriously, you know, I wouldn't call this shoegaze, but this is the precursor to it. And if you like shoegaze, you ought to hear this album. The name's Swimming. It's fantastic. It is. I even have it on CD. Let's listen to Man, Back into the Future. Great English band. Kind of a pub rock band, but they had a progressive side to it. You heard what I said earlier. In order to play my records, I can't play. If I was going to play some classical music now, Holy Toy, kind of a political punk band from back in the day, I think from Germany. I hadn't played this for a long time. I'm really glad I kept this. This is still potent stuff. Holy Toy with Perfect Day. Opeth, Orchid. I played this and for the first time really enjoyed it. You know, it was the first time that I enjoyed this album. I love Opeth, so when I finally got into them, I backtracked and got all their records. But at first I was not getting into these first albums, this and Morning Rise. But yeah, I get it now. You know, it was a band young. Michael Ackerfeld was still a teenager. He had a big vision for this music, and this is a good album. Orchid, Opeth. People like to rock, you know. Black people were people, okay? Why is that so hard to realize? People are people. Shiny Gnomes, Wild Spells. Anybody know about this band? I think they're German, but they do the garage rock thing. This came out in the 80s. This is an incredible album. There's a couple of really wonderful tracks that just are kind of hauntingly good. It's like, wow, this was made in 86. It could have been 1966. Shiny Gnomes, Wild Spells. An album that I kind of forgot I had. A few more. Alto by Johannes Alto Papert. He was the saxophone player in the German jazz rock band Kron. This is a very, very good album. Most of Kron is on the album as well. Really nice. There was a big discussion online recently about the Italian band Sensation Spix. So I played Franco Falsini's Cold Nose solo album. Space to the max. Just fantastic. I also pulled these, but I didn't play them, but I have them. Sensation Spix, Finest Finger, Portable Madness. These are originals. There is some talk about Bebop Deluxe too, so I pulled these. I listened to Futurama. Really like this. She's a Maid in Heaven. Great, great stuff. And then one more, Jargon. This is a band that from Finland that Chris Cole recently found. I've had this for years. Really good fusion. Wonderful album. Oh shit, there's more records. I'll just keep going. Then John McLaughlin. I was on a John McLaughlin kick. Below Horizonte. Wonderful music. Music does bring peace. Sometimes it doesn't bring peace. It's just a comfort. Medicine, I have this out. I haven't played it yet, but I'm going to play it. From the 90s. Great band. Brad Lehner. So, just across the street, a new family has moved in. Since the house across the street had a fire, and that long-time family moved out. We haven't been able to keep neighbors. And I'm curious to see how this new family deals with Ray, my neighbor, my cousin, and his practice of working in his garden and playing his bike stereo super loud. You know, like I said, I understand, that, because of the brain damage that he's kind of got a deep rut in his brain, and it just keeps going down that one path. I've lived here over 20 years, and he keeps playing these very same, the whole time I've been here, the same CDs over and over again. I've given him CDs of my music and other stuff. I understand neuropsychology. To a degree, I do. So I understand that that's, this is what the brain knows, and especially if it's damaged, those pathways are they're like deep grooves in a road, and it's like the brain can't really do anything but go down that groove. So I understand, and so I live with it, and I don't get, I just get frustrated, and every now and then when I can't take it, I go over and say, Ray, please today, and he'll turn it down. But just thinking about some of the hateful people, or some of the people who seem to be, there's a lot of people that are not very sensitive or very thinking or not very knowledgeable about human behavior. I can just imagine someone living here reacting to what I'm dealing with in a typical way that people react now: negatively, violently, unthinkingly, no sensitivity. Little things like this, people kill each other over, and it's merely because of what the person is thinking. I'll finish up by saying I've been restudying this book. This is the Four Agreements companion book that is a workbook, and it's really helpful because we live in the mind. The reality that we try to push on others is just the one that we see, and we have the choice to accept it, go with it, or not. And it's just really been helpful to be reminded of this information and put it into use, because I can use it to choose my reaction to what happens around me and in my world. I don't have to accept. Some of you will understand what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. I don't, nor does anyone that realizes this. No one has to accept what others try to push upon you by what they say. It's merely their reality. When we get hooked into this because we agree with it or believe it, or we get caught in a naked moment of unawareness, But when I use awareness, especially now, because it's volatile times, I think planetary. I think the entire world is on edge. But in dealing with individual people throughout, on a daily basis, it brings a lot of relief to just remember that everyone is just living their reality, and it's that simple. Everyone is living the reality that they know. And I get to choose, if to live in someone else's reality or not, People can say anything they want to. It doesn't matter. It's not that it doesn't matter, but each of us gets to choose whether or not we give a shit, or if we believe it or we care. Isn't that liberating to know? I think some of you could use this information. The next time someone hooks you in a positive or a negative way, something they say, stop and reflect on why it meant anything to you, or you had any reaction to it. Was it really what they said, or was it what you thought about what they said? Because this book helps me to realize that that's what it is. A person can say anything they want. The power is in my response. I don't have to believe it. I don't have to care. It's up to me. It's very powerful, and anyone can use this. Anyone can do it.